Hello, I'm Eliana Marcus, and I can't wait to have you here today. After I speak, I believe you get to introduce yourself, say where you are from, and after that, you can start whenever you're ready. Thank you.
Okay, I'm ready. I guess you want me to talk? My name is Alastair Browne. I am the co-author of the book Cosmic Careers, the one that you saw him hold up. And he's excused, and he has a very good excuse for leaving and reading the book, because I am going to present this very book to you right now. So if we may proceed. First, I have a little introduction for you.
Cosmic Careers. Explore the universe of opportunities in the space industries.
Can you see that? Were you able to see the whole thing? Were you able to see?
We could hear and we could see part of it. Try it again, just to make sure we're seeing what you want us to see.
Yeah. Oh, here we are. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, great. We'll start all over.
Okay.
Cosmic Careers. Explore the universe of opportunities in the space industries. Come on a career journey from Earth to asteroids to the moon to Mars. The tour guides for your adventure are people doing space-related work in big and small companies, universities, government space agencies, labs, and even high schools. Jobs, research, opportunities for startups. They're all in Cosmic Careers. Space needs people with technical skills, but the list of other opportunities is long. 3D printing, biomining, archaeology, robotics, sewing, telemedicine, genetics, optical mining, terraforming, horticulture, social science, public service, pharmacology, heavy equipment operation, space debris collection. Space exploration means food, clothing, shelter, safety, healthcare, recreation, whatever it takes to ensure the well-being of people working and living off Earth. Find your cosmic career now.
Okay, with that, I would like to proceed on. Can you, with a slideshow of my book, and can you see it?
Yep.
Are we ready for space? Okay, can you see the whole thing? Because I know that some of the views here. Okay.
Yeah, it looks good.
All right. First of all, I wanted to meet the authors of the book. Myself, Alastair Storm Browne, and Marianne Corinch, if you can read her name there. It's the photos, the pictures, and Marianne and myself. Yes, here we are. Now it's under control. Marianne Corinch helped not only to co-author the book, but she helped to publish it on HarperCollins, because she is also an agent, but she's also interested in space. So let's give some credit for her as well. And now the book is available in Chinese. It will be sold in China. Lots of them, I hope. Okay, to begin, Cosmic Careers, the book is for everyone. Not only the book, but the whole concept. And this means you. We are now entering new space. Now, old space was Mercury, Gemini, Apollo, which took us to the moon, Skylab, the first space station, and the shuttle. But we had to have an elite corps of especially trained astronauts to participate in all of these. Now, new space is going to involve the rest of the Earth's population, and that means you. Of course, you want to have a career involving space, you can do anything. And this book will tell you why. What do you like to do? What are your hobbies and interests? Can you use your likes and interest in or on space? Absolutely. How? Okay, the space movement is starting to take off and it will only become faster than ever before. And soon all of humanity will venture into space, not just the US, not just China, but every country in the world that is interested. Small countries, big countries. Luxembourg is a small country in Europe, but that has a vast interest in space, and they have their investments too. It'll need ordinary people with all skills, talents, and abilities. Space has something for everyone. Here you see Elon Musk with his rocket. He's a private industrialist. We need a whole new generation of people inspired to imagine possibilities. That's you. Now, there are four main categories of settling space. They are homesteading, research, production, and profit. Now, you're going to see some categories under one heading under another. And that is because these are all intertwined and they're all interdependent upon one another, and you cannot have one without the rest. Homesteading. This means simply building a home on the moon or on asteroids, but not only moons, but food production, greenhouses, laboratories to analyze minerals. And here's one that I put in purple: interior designers, artwork, because as you build your home, you're not going to want to have just 4 white walls. You're going to want to have some decorations to liven up the place. And this is where artists and interior decorations come in. There'll be food production, greenhouses using the soil or hydroponics on that place because we can't ship food from Earth. Air and water sources will come from areas, and clothing, sewing professionals. They would be sewing the inner lining of spacesuits, and their spacesuits has many linings for radiation protection, vacuum protection, heat protection, and they will all be sewed, and we need professionals for that. Radiation shielding, soil from the moon and asteroids make excellent shielding, and so does water, especially in the form of ice. And you see here a lot of sources of where you can get water, ice, fuel, and minerals. And on the moon, there are 600 tons of water ice just at the South Pole alone. The reason for the ice is it's under a permanently shaded area. There's no atmosphere to conduct heat. So in a shade, it's very, very cold. Water is important for survival, for plants and animals, drinking, of course, but also propellant for fuel. You wonder how. Divide water up into hydrogen and oxygen, which is what they're made of, put them together again, and they're going to form a reaction so strong that it'll propel a rocket. And you've seen this already with the shuttle taking off and other rockets taking off. The Saturn V has a stage of liquid hydrogen and oxygen. Learning to live and work on the moon is solid preparations for challenging to function on a different planet from Earth, millions of miles from it. Mars is at a minimum of 40 miles, closest to the Earth. Research, investigation of the moon and the asteroids and applications. Astronomy, which means researching the cosmos. People are going to do that. We're doing that with space telescopes. Analyzing radiation, which is what you're going to encounter. Cosmic and solar. The space environment, how to function in the moon, asteroids, or the zero gravity of space, because there'll be settlements there also. Minerals from the moon, processing the minerals and extracting oxygen, water, and other gases. You mine for minerals, but there'll be lots of useful byproducts. There are 3 phases: identifying the resources, which we do already, developing the technology, form, and large-scale production and full commercialization of resources and space-based industries. Now, this is a list of some of the resources. Incidentally, can you still see, like on the right-hand side, all the way clearly? Because I know with us, is any of this being blocked? I guess
Everything looks good.
okay. Oh, then it's me then. To continue. Okay, you see resources that are attached to oxygen, which is in its natural form. Separate the oxygen, use the minerals, and use the oxygen as well. There are trace elements such as hydrogen, mix it with oxygen. Sulfur, a new, which is the latest for a battery, energy battery on Earth. Carbon, nitrogen, lots of helium, especially helium-3 for minerals. Now, these are platinum group metals that are considered valuable on Earth. We're still trying to mine them like crazy on Earth and into the most unlikely places, especially in mining the sea right there. If you read the list, notice that I put in red an alternative to mining the sea, because there are plenty, you can do that instead because there are a lot more minerals up in space on the asteroids, on the moon, than you'll ever find on Earth. And it's cheaper than mining the sea, it's easier, and it's a lot safer. I would like to stress, because this is in red, that we must never allow it to industries to mine the sea, because they're talking about it in the UN. From industries are seeking permission. They're seeking permission from the United States government. They're talking about it. It's been in the New York Times and other newspapers about it. This must never be allowed to happen, because the byproducts, our tailings, would be pollutants that'll poison the ocean, kill life forms, plant and animals, the algae that produces the oxygen. And if you think we're in trouble now, once this happens, we'll really be in trouble. Serious, more trouble than you can ever imagine. No, this must never be allowed to happen. I can't stress it enough. Life support, habitats that protect the human body. Demonstrations of the human ability to alter the environment through use of native materials. What I just talked about with minerals, in situ resource utilization, ISRU, that means living off the land. We did it on the frontiers in the 19th century. We will do it in the frontier of space. Differently, but we will live off the land. Food production. As I said, producing greenhouses to grow your own crops, producing farms on the moon, with a let's say a glass bubble to farm the lunar surface, and producing a huge variety of food. There'll be occasional meats, not cattle yet, but I believe we will take embryos of cattle. This is in the far future, and then breed them so they will be able to live freely on the surface of the moon and eventually Mars. Producing new crops by way of hydrates. Cooks and chefs, food processors will be needed for this. So that's another job for us. Medicines and biology. Because of the zero gravity of space, it'll be not only a lot easier, but it'll be more advanced. Stem cells in the form of chips. You know, attaching stem cells to an infected part of the body that can regenerate. We haven't reached regeneration yet, but we will, and we will be able to do so. And this includes parts of the brain with the tissue chips mimicking the functions. And this is but one example. Because of the zero gravity, you'll be able to mix compounds in space that you cannot mix on Earth because of their heaviness and lightness to each other, that they cannot mix like oil and water. But because of the microgravity, they can be mixed in space, and you will be able to use them. This will advance medical technology, completely finding cures for more diseases, including COVID, as we hope. And also the microspheres, having spheres 1 micron, attach some medicine to it, inject it into the human body, where they will attach themselves to cancerous cells. And the body must adjust to microgravity of space, but there are ways that we don't know about yet. There will be daily exercise. And incidentally, on the International Space Station, each astronaut has to exercise for 2 hours a day. to prevent bone decalcification, and of course drugs. And I will talk about this later in this report of the advantages of it, zero gravity, and producing new products, medicines, alloys such as superconductors or heavier building materials, energy, new energy sources, new modes of transport and propulsion. We will be building spaceships in space, robotics. They are needed to work in hostile environments in radiation, but they'll do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you notice you've been reading about artificial intelligence right now. These will be labor robots. So advancing physical and life for a new view, and to understand the space environment, develop the technology necessary and acquire the resources for subsequent human exploration on Mars. Now, as we advance in space, first we will settle the moon, cislunar space, and near-Earth asteroids. Mars will be later on. It will not be right away, although there will be private and government expeditions to explore Mars first, and then after a period of time, we'll be able to open it up to the public. Manufacturing materials from space resources and the advantages of zero gravity, as we've discussed, alloys, medicines, computer chips, space vessels, radiation shielding, energy from SPS systems, and 3D printing. That's advancing right now, and it'll advance greatly in space. Any product imaginable. This is for small businesses now, but of better quality and cleaner, purer than the same on Earth because of near zero gravity. Now, for profits. Companies will only invest in space if they know there's a profit to be made. That's the incentive you got to give them. Construction of a space infrastructure. We need an infrastructure just like we have here on Earth. That'll consist of space stations, way stations to launch rockets on Earth with passengers, stop at way station, transport passengers and cargo on other spaceships going to other places on Earth, just like an airport or a bus terminal. Solar power satellites, space habitats, factories, and filling stations or gas stations to gas up these spaceships, to fuel up, transportations, and of course, energy, recycling, cleaning the Earth orbit of space junk. We will need plenty of that, and you'll be able to salvage it, whether it's a 1 centimeter piece of gold material that's broken off from a satellite to whole satellites, rocket parts that were discarded. You'll be able to salvage them, take them apart, and separate them, recycle them, and sell them at a profit. There'll be big money in cleaning up the Earth's orbit. That's the incentive to do so. And owning businesses producing any product manufactured in space. Development of the space infrastructure will be necessarily different from pioneering areas on Earth. Space tourism. The very first industry that'll make a profit after communications will be space tourists. The first customers will be the very rich, but that's okay because they will lead the way for others. That is, pay the high prices, use the money to do research, advance technology, and make space transport a lot cheaper, and that'll attract other people not as rich who will want to go up there for a tour. What are your skills? Think your skills don't fit the bill? Think again. No matter who you are or what you do, your skills will be needed. Space careers will be both available on both Earth and space. You don't have to go to space for a space career. You can work on the ground. In fact, we will need backups, support systems from the ground. And it can be no space power without ground power. Ground control, building and maintenance of space systems. We will still build rockets and space station parts on Earth and life support systems, manufacturing spacesuits. We also need architects, construction workers, and truck drivers to build the ground support systems. In other words, buildings. Opening the space frontier will require government, private enterprise, and professional organizations, including organized labor. Labor unions will be up there for the obvious reason, and it's a good thing. There'll be labor done in space, everyday skills, and here are some of them here, as I've mentioned. Business personnel and law enforcement, I'd like to get on. Businesses from space, and there'll be salesmen and businessmen visiting some of these space companies and say, hey, we build space parts. We build, and we have spacesuits. Ours are the best. How can I convince you to buy things from our company? Space lawyers, we have those already. One is a friend of mine, by the way, whom I had as a teacher, but we remain friends to this day. And they teach all aspects of law. We have space law already. You know, the Outer Space Treaty. All aspects of law, including treaties, respect for property, human behavior, taxes. Yes, we will collect taxes. We have to. The use of infrastructure, and teachers for all fields of space. We have them already. We have the Space Studies program at the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, which is what I attended. And we also have the International Space University, which I believe is on the border in Tulane, France, and Holland. Many people are going there and have been going there for the past 25 years or so. Do you have a disability? This is the best part. Are you confined to a wheelchair on Earth? No problem, you can still work in space. If you have a broken spine or missing limbs, you can't walk, you can't even get up, you can go to space and work. Zero gravity, because it means no pressure on your body. It'll free up your bones and your muscles to be able to move and swim around, and you'll be able to work in whether it's assembling new space structures, you'll be able to work in space laboratories, a space manufacturer, anything. As a matter of fact, if these people go up there and have a good career that they like, they might never want to return to Earth again because they don't want to go back to a wheelchair. And last, this is on the last page of the book, Cosmic Careers, this is a list of all the jobs, of some of the jobs that you'll be able to get. And some of them we've mentioned already. Some of the jobs you would never even imagine, like bear biologist. Why a bear biologist? Because bears go in hibernation. And in the future, when we talk long-term space expeditions, that'll take long periods of time, like decades, astronauts would want to be put into hibernation so that they wouldn't age, just like the bears hibernate during the winter. And you can see this on 2001: A Space Odyssey if you've seen the movie with Stanley Kubrick. If you haven't seen it, go see it. I recommend it. And here are some others. And the list will even get longer. It'll have jobs that we can't even imagine right now. And in the end, the desire for space exploration is all about what we enjoy on Earth: the job opportunities, commercial development, and expansion of scientific knowledge to improve living conditions on Earth. And they can all make life better on Earth. And last, you can get your copy of Cosmic Careers. You can order it from Amazon or Barnes & Noble. There's Cosmic Careers books, which is what we set up, myself and the book company set up to sell it, or any other book selling website, or at your local bookstore. You know, if your bookstore doesn't have it, you can order it. But there it go. There you have it. And so I'd like to thank you all. And are there any questions?
So in how many years do you think we will have 100 people living in space?
I would estimate maybe 10 to 15 years. Okay, I have a question here, and I like this. If we can do this, why can't we fix Earth? Why should we expect humanity to do any different in space? Well, that's a good question. And one of my answers is the reason why we're going in space is because there are problems here on Earth, and not all problems can be solved because one, it's overpopulation. They say it takes 6 Earths to provide the needs for every person on Earth living comfortably. Well, space provides that. There's plenty of minerals and there are plenty of resources, and there are lots of job creations and wealth creations that we could bring back on Earth to improve things. We have the potential to solve a lot of problems here on Earth already. The problem is not that we don't have it, it's just that there's a lot of people, I don't like to say in government and in businesses, I don't like to trash either of those two, because both of those are necessary, who just don't want to apply them because it takes away their secure position, their source of wealth. And they don't want to change because of it. Bureaucrats don't want to change because they are afraid of it. People fear change. But going in space, well, it's not going to create a utopia on Earth, but it can help clean up pollution by transporting industries in space. By doing so, we can bring mineral wealth down here to provide more products from people. We can find cures for diseases, all right? So we're going in space because there are problems here on Earth, and we have to expand. If we can't expand, we can't solve the problems here on Earth. And yes, and I also want to say that humanity always will have problems. We'll never reach utopia. We'll never have a time where we won't have any problems. We will always have them. And if whatever we solve now, new ones will come along that'll be just as serious. So I hope I have answered that question to the best of my ability. Anything else? Anybody?
Just one question. Congratulations for your great job. What would be the best strategies to warn people about these possibilities, to develop some skills, to be able to work in the space, change some school curriculum, establish the connection with the spatial agents around the world, with the universities, with the middle school schools? What do you think would be the best strategies to prepare the future workers for these jobs?
Well, 1, public relations, 2, promotion, 3, when the computer industry first came out, they immediately introduced, well, maybe not immediately, but they did introduce them to the universities that attracted people. I was in college when computers did first come out in college. As I said, there are already 2 universities that I know of that have space studies programs. I think the thing is to go to other universities, promote more space studies programs, and then advertise it in a way to a lot of these potential future college students, saying space exploration is now on the curriculum. Now, I took space studies as a master's program. It was either a master's program or a minor in a bachelor's program. So I think that is still the way. Have it promote it as a minor first and tell everyone what's available. And then we've got to build it up. At UND with space studies, I was there in its infancy back 30 years ago. But now they've built it up so much that I don't even recognize it myself. So I think have I answered your question? Is there anything else is there anything I've missed?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I guess if there isn't anything else, well then I want to
Thank you.
thank
Thanks,
God-
Alastair.
Thank you so much for coming.
Well, wait. You did not.
Yes, actually, I did. I read, not just now, but I read it before.
Yeah, I kind of figured you cheated.
I did cheat, but it's very interesting. It's very,
Yes. And I hope that you all, and I want to thank you and have a good afternoon and best of luck to the person coming up.
Thanks.